Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it's time to check out the changes to Nekari. This is one I've been waiting for a long time now because, well, let's be honest, Nekari, while the faction of Slaanesh was pretty good, they'd still lacked a few things, so they're getting a few changes thanks to the Champions of Chaos DLC and an FLC too, so let's talk all about that. Obviously, you can tell that there is a new start position, so in the Immortal Empires, Nekari and the Seducers of Slaanesh will begin on Ulf 1. Going over a very ancient matchup, which I was super hyped about when they announced it. I honestly wasn't expecting just going straight for Tyrion at the very beginning, and I'm pretty hyped. So, everything else stays the same. Mechanically, Slaanesh still stays exactly the same way, but there's a little bit of changes just to make Slaanesh's faction a little bit stronger. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So we'll start off with a rather interesting thing here. Obviously, you don't have any allies because, well, you know, this is Ulf 1, the Ulf 1 elves do really hate Slaanesh, but that kind of changes here in Safri, as Safri itself starts off with quite high corruption, and also you have access to a cult there, which is getting you more reputation with them. This means that if you want to subjugate them, you can. There's also the Dark Elves with the Scourge of Cain, but I don't know, it depends. You can just let them do their own thing. They generally won't attack you, as really they'll see you as a benefit to them, and if you want to attack them later, you know, you can take the Sword of Cain with Nekari, which is freaking disgusting. But the Elves of Safri are the best way to go, as at least it does give you an ally. Keep in mind, early on, Alariel will attack them, so you're going to have to work fast if you want them to stay alive, though. So just a quick note regarding how the campaign works. They don't auto-declare war on you anymore, which is obviously a very good benefit, though Ulf 1 itself is going to be very much against you. The same thing with the Bretonnians right next door. You have a higher version, so yeah, if you don't start working quick, you're going to start getting a lot of factions declaring war on you. This doesn't matter what difficulty it is, even if it's just easy, they will get a little bit hectic. However, you're a lot stronger now, so don't you worry about that. But I think it's something important to mention, as this isn't like his Realm of Chaos campaign, where it's a bit more calm, barring the fact that you just pretty much need to fight Scarbrand, and that's the only real big enemy that you do have. Here, it's just a bit more. Anyways, as you can tell now, the roster is pretty big, because you get access to the Slaanesh marked units from the Champions of Chaos DLC. Keep in mind also that the Warriors of Slaanesh with Hell Scourges that are an FLC are free. They're not part of the DLC. So if you decide not to buy the DLC, you've got access to Chaos Warriors, which is pretty much what we wanted. Like, you get access to everything. You get access to everything but the new Marauders, because you have the old Marauders and they're pretty much the same. But if you want the War Shrine, you want the Chosen, you want the Warriors, there you go. Honestly, you don't even need the Chosen. I think the Warriors is literally all that was needed to have a proper defensive unit, but it does make you a lot stronger now, and you will start to notice that as you start playing through your campaign. As I've been saying time and time again since the launch of Warhammer 3, that all we needed was some Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh, and we'd basically be fine with Nekari's faction, as a proper frontline was needed. The Marauders are good for a frontline, but not for the future. It's just, you know, after everyone else starts recruiting their big stuff, the Marauders become pretty redundant. Anyways, as we go from there, you can also get them buffed up through your tech tree. Not a lot of tech is dedicated to them. Keep in mind that the tech tree is very small because it's only 6 sections with 6 techs each. And in most cases, it'll just give them some, you know, upkeep reduction and all that type of stuff. However, there's some pretty good ones, like enabling Sephoric Musk for, well, the Warriors on Marauders or the Chosen. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. It'll take a while to get those techs, but you will mostly be focusing on demons. I mean, demons are the main thing here anyway. So the benefit, as can be expected, is that all these new units are also going to be able to be upgraded through the red skill line. Here's Nekari's one. So yeah, if you want to focus mostly on warriors, you can. I mean, there's a decent amount of skill points for you to just drop whatever you want onto it and still be able to make your army really powerful if you decide to go full demon, full chaos warrior, or a healthy mix of both, which I've been enjoying a healthy mix of both. And as for some variety, and this is actually proper variety, we have 2 lord options, which unlike the other demon factions, these act really differently. Obviously, we are all aware of what the Herald of Slaanesh is. This is your spellcaster, cavalry type of lord, as obviously it does use a chariot, and these can also buff up the units with the the red skill line too, so that's pretty good. It's obviously what's expected, but you know, sometimes these things are forgotten and they need to come in later patches and all that type of stuff, so yeah. Okay, so next we have the Chaos Lord of Slaanesh, and this is very different because it's not a spellcaster. In fact, this is a melee-focused lord. And yeah, it's pretty strong. The fact is, this gives you some variety if you want to have something different. It also focus on different buffs for your units, because the skill lines for the Chaos Lord of Slaanesh is that, or that's coming with the Warriors of Chaos rework. So it's the stuff that you've already seen in many videos already. It's a bit different. There's no upkeep reduction, barring Renowned and Feared, so it's going to be a bit more of an expensive army if you normally rely on the upkeep reduction. However, you know, it's nice to have something different. It's nice to have something that can be upfront, because the Alurus isn't really a character that can do a lot of damage. So yeah, the variety is very welcome. Now this is also quite interesting because it gives you a bit of option. Yes, you can subjugate the elves the normal way with seduction and all that type of stuff, but if a faction has been destroyed and you want to bring them back, you can just create them as a vassal. Especially for the elves, this is quite cool because, well, you know, if you want to turn Ulf-1 into a weird Slaaneshi elven pleasure palace, I mean, you're perfectly fine for it. I just took it for myself because I wanted the area, but you can even bring back legendary lords, which I think is pretty cool. And just for a very quick note here, it's nothing to do with your campaign specifically. Well, it might be if you decide to play Nekari or even any of the elves. Count Noctilus is a lot more aggressive. I've actually seen him take a decent amount of Ulf-1 over and over again, so just be prepared to deal with the Vampire Coast. And lastly, the Chaos Sword can also become a Demon Prince if you so wish. This is an option. You can decide to either wait a few turns, or you can keep Immortal if you want. But this is quite to your benefit, to be honest, because the Demon Prince of Slaanesh flies, as you can expect, and is no longer a baseline melee lord, but rather has a mix of the Lore of Slaanesh and the Lore of Shadows. So you get quite a decent little mix there. You get the Withering, you obviously still get Pit of Shades, which is a very big thing, Purveying of Slaanesh. It's all spells that I generally use fairly often, and again, focuses around the Warriors of Chaos rework for the skills. So yeah, still no upkeep reduction. However, I think it's quite cool. I think it's a really good benefit here, as Flying Lords are really good, especially spellcasters, to be able to fly around your enemy at a very good speed, because it's, what, 96 speed more or less, and then to drop a Pit of Shades behind enemy lines or where they're bunkering down. You can already tell that there's a lot of things that you can do here. So I'm just going to show off a custom battle here and just talk about why this change was so important for Slaanesh. You see, we lacked proper front line. Yeah, the Marauders were decent. The Marauders with Hell Scourges, you know, they're a good defender unit and all that, but they do suffer, especially later game, well, even mid-game and sometimes early game, depending where you are, they do suffer. So having the Warriors is good. These are the ones that you get with the FLC, so you don't even have to pay for those, but you can already notice a bit of a change. Having the Warriors come in and just having a few extra units for Slaanesh is just fantastic, having a bit of extra armor. It's really making it a lot more fun, as variety is the spice of life, and the problem with the demon factions in general too was the fact that the army book was so small. There's not really that many demons in the Warhammer Fantasy lore, 40k lore too, so we really couldn't expect a lot more units unless in the future we will get new demons. But keep in mind that Games Workshop does not establish demons very often. It's quite rare. It's very rare. So having the Mortals come in to make the Monogod factions feel like proper Monogod factions is actually really nice. It's so different to what I could have imagined in the past, because this isn't a demon faction anymore. These factions, Kairos, Skarbrand, Kurgath, and Nekari, those aren't demon factions with a sprinkle of mortals. These are proper Monogod factions, and they really feel like it now. Nekari is a character that I really love in the lore, and it's someone that I've always been wanting for the Total War series. It's someone that I didn't expect ever seeing, to be honest, because he never really had a model. So being able to now enjoy the campaign a lot more, it's something that I'm just really into. But talking about the battle itself, I mean, this is a randomly generated Khornate army, and then this is one that I worked on myself. I wanted to get a healthy mix of both mortals and demons, but what I wanted to show off is the frontline aspect, because what we needed was the anvil for our hammer, our demonettes, our Hellstriders, all these type of stuff. These were our hammer but we never had the anvil. And now it feels like we have a proper army that we can hold down the enemy with the Chaos Warriors. You know, these are defenders. The Hell Scourges are specifically the defenders, and then move around really quickly with the fast-running Demonettes, fast-running Hellstriders, the Chariots, anything that you want, just to really, really hit the enemy hard. And it feels like the Slaanesh faction I always envisioned. It's something I always wanted myself, and it just feels good. Like, I've played N'Kari for over 200 turns. I've taken a good chunk of the world, and it's just really, it shows the difference. You're not in an easy start, you're in a much harder start, but having the warriors to be able to get there really makes the campaign a lot more bearable. Though with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll have a little bit of discussion. Immortal Empires will be available on the 23rd of August, so it's not that long now, guys, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.